This is a Dodge Challenger SRT HELLCAT. This car right here has over 700 horsepower and is one of the fastest production muscle cars available today. One of my favorite aspects of this car is the Go Mango orange color with the black stripes going down the middle of it. Today on the show I have Tim Clegg, the owner of Hertz Donut Company. I'm Jesse Weiser with Wiser Living, and this is Learning with Leaders. Who are you and what do you do?
My name's Tim Clegg, and I am the founder, owner, and CEO of Hertz Donut Company.
So I think a lot of people, whenever they hear and see Hertz Donuts, you guys are just like on fire with marketing. How did you learn marketing?
My wife and I, we were the ones that started the company. We started the business in 2013, and she is always posting on Facebook. She's been really deliberate with her marketing approach.
Yeah.
She's been very smart with it.
So what you're saying is your wife is the brains behind the marketing.
Absolutely. Yes. We talk a lot about marketing. We make jokes about things. We brainstorm about things. But when it comes to the execution, that is all Cass. I've been in business for myself for a long time. Not anything where I necessarily led a group. Yeah, I had to learn a lot. I had to learn a lot on leadership and how to run a company. And so it's been a very challenging learning experience, but it's been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed learning along the way. When we opened, the original idea was because we own SnowBiz, shaved ice. So we worked 5 months, at maybe 6 out of the year.
Nobody likes ice during the winter?
Well, I do, but not enough to keep the business operation going. So we were operating for 5 or 6 months out of the year, and then the rest of the time we were having to spread out and budget or pick up odd jobs. The big picture goal was to figure something out that would transition the seasons. So what can we come up with? I'm a really bad idea specialist. I would always pitch these ideas to her, and she would like, no, that's ridiculous. Don't even waste any more time on it, or this and that. And one day, I pitched this donut shop idea. She's a huge donut fan.
One of my questions was, why donuts?
Yeah. Cass is a crazy donut fan. Our first date, official date, we stopped to get gas. She ran inside the gas station, grabbed 6 donuts.
Oh my gosh.
And ate 5 of them.
What?
No joke. And I was impressed.
Well,
First date, and we were already that comfortable. And so I had a notebook, and I was scratching down crazy donut ideas, just crazy toppings off the wall. I spent my time sitting in there watching YouTube videos on other people making donuts, so I could just understand the business and the operation. And so it was not unsimilar to probably someone pitching to an investor. I came in and I said, Cass, I've got an idea. It was probably the first time that she didn't say no.
Wow.
But she didn't say yes. She just was intrigued, but she didn't say no. And so what I took that as was a yes. And so I started looking around on Craigslist, online, trying to find used equipment. And I found a donut shop that was going out of business in Oklahoma. And I contacted them. I negotiated the price over the phone, sight unseen.
Whoa.
And we grabbed a U-Haul truck and drove to Oklahoma and loaded up an entire donut shop. And at that point, it was real.
And now you started with 1 back in 2013.
Yeah.
How many do you have now?
We have 21 locations open currently.
Throughout the whole nation?
Throughout 9 states.
9 states.
And we're getting ready to enter into our 10th state.
So 22 locations.
We'll have 22 locations. We've got a few that are in the construction process.
Yeah.
So I think that right now, by the end of the year, we're projected to have 24. A lot of what we do is experience-based. You come in and it's something new. It's not a traditional donut shop. So it's fun. It can be loud. We tend to crank the music up sometimes. Donuts are colorful. We've got traditional and classic donuts all the way to just crazy off-the-wall topping donuts.
Yeah.
So where should we classify as like a dessert donut?
So who are you? As in, like, where did you come from?
Where did I come from? So we can go all the way back to the beginning. Born in in Los Angeles County, so Long Beach, California.
Really?
Me and Snoop Dogg. Well, yeah, born in Long Beach, and my family, my grandparents moved because their parents lived in Southwest Missouri.
Yeah.
And so they moved in the late 70s, and my parents and me and my sister had followed, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So it was late 70s. We moved to West Plains, Missouri. In 84, we moved to Springfield, and I stayed in Springfield until 92 when I graduated high school, Parkview. I joined the military.
Mm-hmm.
I joined the Marine Corps in 96, and spent 8 years
Wow.
between active duty and the reserves.
Was that before or after CAS?
Way before.
Way before.
Way
Okay.
before. And I was fortunate enough to get accepted to a small, little tiny university in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma, in Shawnee, Oklahoma. St. Gregory's University. It was on the campus of a monastery. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2001, and lots of jobs. I landed back in Springfield sometime. I helped my parents with Snow Biz because they had purchased that and helped them get that off the ground. I was still.
So they opened up Snow
They
Biz.
did. Well,
You took over.
It was existing.
Yeah.
Snow Biz had been around for a long time, and then my parents purchased it, and they needed someone to come back to Springfield to help them run it.
Mm-hmm.
So I packed up and moved back to Springfield. I did that for the first season and part of the second season. During that time, though, I ended up taking a position with the Springfield Ozark Ducks.
Really?
Or it used to be the Ozark Mountain Ducks.
Yeah.
But,
Of 65.
Yeah. Yeah, and I worked my way within a short period of time. I started off as a concessions manager and sales.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up, during a transition for the general manager, becoming the interim general manager of the team.
Yeah.
Worked for the team for a year, and then ended up back at St. Gregory's, which was my alma mater. And I took a job as the assistant soccer coach and the director of development for the Institutional Advancement Office of Fundraising for the university.
You sound like every entrepreneur I talk to.
Has a whole resume of random, non-related positions. Absolutely.
If your younger self was sitting next to you right now, what advice would you give him?
Not to dwell too hard, not beat yourself up too hard over failures, but actually to embrace those times, to understand. I think that when you fail in business or in life, in any stage in life, that you can choose to beat yourself up over it. You can choose to look at the negative side of it. I have taught myself to embrace the learning aspect of it, and to find out what could I have done differently, what did I do wrong, how can I learn and grow from this experience.
Well, there's no guarantees in life.
Absolutely not. We talk about this. Obviously, we've built a very successful brand and a very successful business, but our conversations aren't about how successful we are and how big we're going to grow. It's we have to maintain, and especially for the sake of our franchisees, we've got to operate and provide support and operate a very good business.
Yeah.
Because just like any entrepreneur would probably tell you, we're just a few paychecks away from being broke at any moment. I mean, because this thing could end, a very, very real possibility with this pandemic.
Yeah.
We saw businesses in our industry close and shutter up left and right.
Yeah.
And it was very scary
Yeah.
for us, very, very scary for our franchisees, which our franchisees, our franchise owners are people that have followed us, probably at some point experienced us, our product and our business, and then decided that we were a worthy enough business to invest their money and their time and their passion into our vision. That's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
That's a huge responsibility. And when you have the buy-in of people and they become your responsibility, their success rides on how well you operate your business and the support you can offer them. It's a lot of pressure.
It is.
And so when you have something that's completely out of your control, like COVID,
Yeah.
it gets really scary for a lot of people.
You spoke earlier about in 2013 you opened up Hertz, but then you started opening up franchises and you had no idea how to lead a ton of people. How did you learn leadership?
I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Still learning. I think that leadership is a journey that has no destination. And I think it's always, I'm always learning. I'm always reading.
So you learn from failure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the foundation. I know more what not to do than I knew what to do. And so don't do that. Because this is the outcome. I've known that. Destined to repeat history if you didn't learn from it. Whenever you start a job, you expect your leaders to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You expect to be led or guided in the right direction. You expect that they are the experts in the location. Employees want to be led. I think if you have the most frustration within your staff, it's because the leadership isn't in place, and that usually comes out, and a lot of times it comes out too late. You've already lost them.
Yeah.
And we've lost really great employees over poor leadership, and I can only point the blame at me.
Yeah.
Because of that, I decided that I was going to continue my education, and I wanted to be more well-read, and I wanted to understand the challenges of leadership and the frustrations that come along with that, and the frustrations that come from the employee side that are the consequence of poor leadership.
Yeah.
And so I started a couple years back. I started a master's program in administrative and organizational leadership at the University of Oklahoma.
Oh wow.
And I was
Was that during Hertz Donuts?
right in the middle of it.
So how?
2 years ago.
How do you live in Springfield? And was it online?
It was.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they have a good extension campus program. It was instantly applicable. I could take what I learned from my homework or from the paper that I had to write that evening and go back to the office and implement it right away and start to make positive changes for not just our office, our corporate office staff, but for the brand as a whole, for the business as a whole. And our operation is only going to improve over time.
Yeah.
And it's not because of any earth-shattering ideas that I've had, but because I've taken the time to learn from leaders and to understand the right way to do things and the right way to formulate things. And then after I finished that, I was on fire, absolutely on fire, and I wanted to continue to learn about change. So I've just been accepted into my doctorate program at the University of Southern California. So next month I start my doctorate program in organizational change leadership at USC.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know where I'm going to find the time, but I found the time before. Full-time dad, full-time cook at home, full-time homework navigator during COVID, full-time homeschool teacher, full-time business owner operator.
That just tells you that someone as busy as, let's say, you, I mean, I think busy is just a common word that people use,
It is.
It's perspective.
I try never to say busy, and when I catch myself saying busy to someone else, I apologize immediately.
Exactly. But as someone as busy as you still finds the time, that speaks measures right there. Just because I think there's a lot of people, they're like, I don't have time for that.
But you can make time. You make time. And I had to learn that myself. So there's distractions everywhere.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, if you want to be better, you can find a way to be better. Absolutely.
Yes. Well, okay, John Maxwell,
Yep.
he says that your organization will never be better than your leadership. So if your leadership is a 5, your organizations is like a 4 or a 3. But as you go up the leadership, 6, 7. Your organization will be like 5, 6. You know, it grows with you. What I see is that. You know, you dug into leadership, and now your organization is growing. Now it has more, you know, net. It's growing wider. You can handle more, bigger foundation, structures, processes, because you're growing.
Yes, I agree. I think that there's the analogy that I use is that the leader's responsibility is to create the vision and constantly strive for that vision. And when it gets just within reach, you reevaluate and you put the vision out of reach again. So the analogy is you're on an elastic band and the leader's at the top pulling everyone along with them. Mm-hmm. So they're constantly pulling everybody towards the vision with the leader, but then the leader's always changing the vision just to keep that upward trajectory.
Mm-hmm. Well, the vision is something that's always unattainable.
Yes.
But it sounds like you're changing the goals, you know, and the mission.
Vision is something that you strive for, but it's always out of reach.
Exactly. If someone is like in front of you and it's just like, man, what I'm doing is not working, what is some good advice for that person?
Leaders do not have all the answers. As a matter of fact, I think we probably have more questions than we do answers. But finding other people and learning from their mistakes, their failures, and ultimately their successes as well.
Yeah.
It's the best training tool that you could possibly ask for.
It is. Dude, this has been awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's fun.
Dude, I appreciate this, man.